more at Depend.com.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Ugh, no, not the sink. Not now.
Plumbing issues can put your life on pause. But with anytime emergency scheduling, the Neighborly Done Right promise, and more, Mr. Rooter Plumbing will have your life flowing again in no time.
All fixed.
Much better.
Mr. Rooter is proud to cheer on the Cats. Mention this ad for 10% off any plumbing service. A win for the whole family. Bear down, Arizona.
Mr. Rooter Plumbing, a Neighborly company.
The first annual Music at the Patch Music Festival is coming to the Marana Pumpkin Patch, November 14th and 15th. 2 jam-packed days of live music featuring Sunset Red, Gigi and The Glow, and tributes to legends like Alan Jackson, Johnny Cash, Kenny Chesney, and ZZ Top. Plus, rock out with the Dirt, your ultimate 80s hair metal tribute, and sing along with the Country Divas tribute. There'll be food and drink vendors, plus kids 10 and under get in free. Bring your RV or camp under the stars. It's a weekend you won't forget. A portion of the proceeds from the Music at the Patch Festival is donated to a local nonprofit organization. Tickets and info at musicatthepatch.com. That's musicatthepatch.com. Don't miss it.
And this Friday, we have a sweet deal for you from Music at the Patch. You can get 1 general admission ticket, good for either day, for just $12.50, originally $25. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media station. The Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
And a great Thursday afternoon to you. DK on the Sports Tip. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We are solo here today. Solo Thursday. It's one of those solo Thursdays. Me flying the plane. We do have Dragon Ball here on traffic today, so he'll be joining us a little bit later. We've got you for about an hour and a half until NFL Thursday Night Football, the first game of week number 9 tonight. The Baltimore Ravens on the road at the Miami Dolphins. This will be the last of our early 4:30 games. I really like these games in the fall. It kind of gives us a little bit of a break from our normal long show schedule, so it's nice to have a 4:30 start. But they move to 5:30 next week, so a little bit longer show, but still not a full show on Thursdays coming up. And in fact, I think next Thursday we might have another basketball game. I think there's another basketball game. That might be next Friday. I think it's actually next Friday night is a basketball game. Season will start Monday down in Florida. World Series, man, things got bad for the Dodgers right off the get-go.
5 of the World Series, and it's hit high, left field and deep. Call back at the track, leaps at the wall, and that ball is gone! A first pitch homer for Davis Schneider. Welcome to Game 5. 5:10 Pacific, 8:10 Eastern, the time of first pitch. And the 0-1. Vladdy rocks the ball, left field and deep, back to the wall. It is gone again. Back-to-back blasts in the first, and in 3 pitches, the Blue Jays lead 2-0. What in the world are we watching right now?
Yeah, not really what you want to be watching if you're a Los Angeles Dodgers fan. That's for sure. Digging yourself an early hole. But against a rookie, you got a rookie out there, Trey Yesevich. Again, we're going to talk about Trey Yesevich because this goes back to what I was saying at the end of the regular season as it related to the Arizona Diamondbacks. You might remember the Diamondbacks had a Friday game against the Dodgers, and they threw Jalen Beeks out there for the first inning of the game. Lefty reliever, the quote starter, the one-inning starter. They put him out there for one inning to try to navigate through the early left-handed hitters, Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, etc. And it did not go well. And the Dodgers won the last game of that series here in Arizona, and it was the beginning of the end. In fact, it ended the next night for the Diamondbacks in San Diego. But I said that, I think that was Friday, before the start of that Padres series, that I did not like the fact that they threw Jalen Beeks out there for one inning. And I hearken back, I said, you see, I'd much rather see the Diamondbacks put a young prospect out there. Give me a guy that's lit it up in the minor leagues this season and put him in that position. Put him in that position to make a start like that. An actual starting pitcher. Not one of your guys out of the bullpen that you're trying to piecemeal a contest to get a win late in the season that you absolutely have to have. That is the story of this young man, Trey Yesavich.
The wind and the 2-strike pitch. He got him. Struck him out on a slider. 1-2-3 for Yesavich in the first. Regular rest for Yesavich. His 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Trey Yesavich strikes out this side. He's punched out 4 in a row in 2 6-up, 6-down innings in L.A. The wind and the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ohtani loses his helmet on this splitter. Feet pretty close together in his straight-up stance. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 11 Ks for Trey Yesavich. He's shredding right now in Game 5. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 12 Ks for Yesavich. Blue Jays 5. Dodgers 1. 1 out, bottom of the 7th, Game 5 of the World Series. 3-2. On the ground to third. Clement grabs it. Throw to second one. IKF to first. Double play! 5-4-3. Yesavich through 7. And it's 5-1 Blue Jays in Game 5 of the World Series.
And it was all over but the crying in L.A. and the red lights leaving Chavez Ravine.
Hoffman turns his shoulders, looks at first, now sets. He kicks. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hoffman punches out Hernandez. The Blue Jays, in dominant fashion, win 6-1 in Game 5, and they'll come home with a 3-2 lead in the World Series.
Jeff Hoffman closing things out for Trey Yesavich. The numbers in the game: 7 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits, no walks, 12 strikeouts. He did give up a home run to Kike Hernandez. I know somewhere my friend Angelique Lazarde, who I worked with at KVOA News 4 Tucson, is happy because that's her guy, Kike Hernandez. But that was it. Kike was the only one that could get to this rookie. The story is unbelievable. This kid on April 8th was making his first career start as a pitcher, and he was doing so at Single A. Single A. Okay? This kid started the season, Trey Yesavich, remember the name, in Single A. By low Single A. Let's back it up. Low Single A, because there's different levels in the minor leagues. There's high A and there's low A. He was in low A. By May 20th, he was making a start in high A. So he looked good early. I'd like to see what the lines were, but we'll have to pull those up. His minor league, his game log, he clearly looked good early. Got bumped up in late May to high A. Literally was there maybe a couple starts, because by June 12th, which, in the minor league level is kind of, they have first half and second half in a lot of levels. So by the start of the second half, he was at Double A. Spent 2 months at AA. By mid-August, he was making his first AAA start. Spent the end of the season at AAA, was called up to the big leagues to make his major league debut on September the 15th. So he had not pitched a game in the big leagues before just over a month and a half ago. Then he started in the playoffs, made a start in the ALCS, and now a dominant start in the World Series. Trey Yesevich, remember the name. He had 3 starts in the regular season. Pitched well. Few more walks than we've seen from him in the postseason. 7 in 14 innings, but only 5 earned runs, 13 hits, and 16 Ks. So pretty good, pretty good. I mean, not for a guy coming up, making his first big league appearance. Absolutely. You'll take those numbers. And he hasn't been great in the postseason, but he hasn't been horrible either. He had a 5-run outing against the Seattle Mariners, but he's made 5 starts in the postseason, and the Blue Jays have won 4 of those 5 starts. Last night was his best outing. He did strike out 11 and 5 1/3 in a no-run, no-hit outing against the Yankees. They pulled him in the 6th in a game they won 13-7. But he looked like a big league starter last night. And this is what I was talking about. This is the story of Trey Yesevich is what I was talking about 2 months ago. These are the type of guys, even if you've got a team in the pennant race, every team has this guy. Every team has a Trey Yesevich. You just got to be willing to put him in there in September and allow him to pitch games that matter. And the Blue Jays are clearly one of those franchises. And I'm not surprised. You know why I'm not surprised? Because I said it 2 months ago when I was talking about it with the Diamondbacks. The guys that are running the Blue Jays are the guys that were running the Indians back when the Indians got good in the 90s and in the 2000s and under Tito. And that's what they did. That's what they do. They identify prospects. They bring those guys. They're not afraid to bring those prospects up in September and put them into games that matter, to see if you can find lightning in a bottle and hit on one of those guys that you can ride to the postseason. Heck, it happened 2 years ago. I mean, I'll give the Diamondbacks credit. They did it 2 years ago with Brandon Pfaadt. They brought him up, I think it was in August, and he pitched. Now, he didn't put up the type of numbers that Trey Yesevich has in the latter part of September to the postseason, but he was a quality starter for them. You gotta get back to that mentality, and it's all this analytical BS that drives me nuts. You got to get back to kids who can. You got to start believing in the players again in Major League Baseball. Believe in the guys. Give guys a shot. That's how you get to within one win of a World Series championship. You bet on your prospects. You sign the kids, you develop the kids, and you bet on your prospects. So I love it. And again, I said, and when I say the Indians guys that are running the Blue Jays, I'm talking about Ross Atkins, the general manager who cut his teeth under Mark Shapiro, who's the CEO of the Blue Jays, Shapiro, the former general manager of the Indians, because this is what the Indians did throughout the 90s and the early 2000s. There's a ton of guys we can point to. Jarrett Wrights, CC Sabathias, who they brought up and they said, go out there and win ball games, young rookie. Go out there and pitch big games in September and pitch games in October, young rookie. And I just wish the Diamondbacks would have done that down the stretch instead of giving me Jalen Beeks. And nothing against Jalen Beeks. Nothing against him. I don't dislike Jalen Beeks. I just didn't want Jalen Beeks starting a game that mattered against the Dodgers with 4 games left to play in the season. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us that number. Want to hear your thoughts on that. 520-848-1290. All right, again, short show today. We are going to talk with Charita Stubbs, the head volleyball coach at the University of Arizona. They've got a huge home game coming up tomorrow. One that they really need to win because the wheels have kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit. 2 weeks ago, Arizona was 2 weeks ago? Yeah, because it was October the 17th. On the road. Went on the road. Won a game against Central Florida. 2 days later, went to Houston, won a game, and the Wildcats were sitting pretty at 5-2 in Big 12 conference play. Since then, however, a loss at Iowa State, a loss at home to number 6 Arizona State, and a loss last night at Texas Tech, and they've won one set. One set. They're 1-9 in sets in their last 3 matches. So that's not really where you want to be. So a big game coming up, big match coming up tomorrow. Halloween at McHale Center. Halloween. You like that, David Amata? You like Halloween?
I think that's actually a pretty good one there. Halloween. I can get behind that. I don't know if there's many other sports, though, that can really take an advantage of the Halloween naming other than volleyball, because it doesn't work for football. You certainly can't do it for basketball. Basketween doesn't really hit the ear just the same.
David, I said Trey Yasevich, who dominated the Dodgers last night. This is what I was talking about 2 months ago when I said, what are the Diamondbacks doing putting Jalen Beeks out there against the Dodgers with 4 games to go for 1 inning? Why are we not calling up our best minor league prospect and giving him an opportunity down the stretch? This is what the Jays did with this young man who started the year in single A. He pitched at all 3 levels of the minor leagues, didn't get to the big leagues until September the 15th, and now might walk out of this season as the MVP of the World Series. You got to give prospects a chance. And that's the good organizations will put the ball in the hands of their best young prospects. And the Diamondbacks need to do that more.
Oh, no, absolutely. And the thing is the other part of it is we see so many of these high-end pitchers and batters going up in these moments in the postseason. How many times can you think of back in the day where Aroldis Chapman had met with Jose Altuve before meeting up in a postseason walk-off scenario? Who knows what this Savage kid can do? Nobody except for him. And if you go in blind as a hitter, that's probably the worst thing that could possibly happen to you for your confidence, because you don't know what that pitcher is going to throw at you. If you can get that one up on a hitter, it's going to lead to a potential great opportunity for you going into a moment where they need you to be great. And if you've already got the opportunity of surprise, the element of surprise on them, what better way to do it? You got to give an advantage to young pitchers to get that confidence going into these big moments when you're playing in October, potentially going into November.
Can the Dodgers come back and win this?
They certainly have not looked great, and they were at home the past 2 games. I mean, this might be one of those situations where they played their 2 best games in 1 game, in that game 3 of the series, and I don't think that they've really recovered from it. Their energy levels have not gone back to where it was in those 2 games that they had won. So I think that they're still recovering from that game 3. They'll have that extra day of rest, but they got to get out there quickly. And they luckily will have probably their best pitcher on the mound going into game 6 in a must-win game of a guy who finished a complete game the last time he was pitching in the World Series.
It's very interesting. We'll see. We have a day off today, and we'll see it all come back tomorrow and Saturday, potentially game 6 tomorrow, game 7 on Saturday if necessary. All right, Dragon Ball is here, and he's getting you home every 20 minutes. In for cricket on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. We have an accident with possible injuries over at East Glen Street and North Alvanon Way. Glen having a lot of backup on east and westbound right now, so be aware of that. I-10 eastbound, we have a crash reported near Rita Road at milepost 273. This one's seeing a lot of backup as you approach that exit. Do try to avoid that and get off one exit earlier if Rita Road is your exit going into your afternoon drive. For your weather, we're currently at 88 degrees, but we are going to be out of them pretty quickly here, including dropping all the way to 70 once we reach to 9 o'clock tonight. I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by King's Hawaiian Sliders.
Eli Manning here. There's nothing like football and King's Hawaiian Sliders. There's something about those soft, fluffy, irresistible King's Hawaiian Sliders that make them a winner on game day. Pick some up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. King's Hawaiian. There's nothing like it.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. We have an incident with property damage over at East Sunrise.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Wildcat fans, Arizona football tickets are on sale now. Join the party at Arizona Stadium all season long as your Arizona Wildcats take on year 2 in the Big 12. There's nothing better than an Arizona football game day, from the tailgating scene to the action on the field. So bring a friend and get your tickets now by calling 520-621-2287. That's 621-CATS, or by visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. And as always, bear down.
Bulldog, former analyst with College Game Day, and host of my new show, See Ball, Get Ball. I'm a defensive lineman. That's why that's the name. You see the ball, you go get it. We're going to dive deep into college football. We're going to break down film. We'll have bold takes, real conversations with the biggest names in the sport every single week. If you eat, sleep, and breathe college football like I do, man, I promise you, See Ball, Get Ball is for you. So do me a favor. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Looking for fun? O'Reilly Chevrolet has EVs in stock and ready to roll. Chevy's led the EV charge since the Bolt in 2016, and now we're keeping it going with the all-electric Blazer, Equinox, and Silverado. Innovation, power, and savings all in one ride. Come see us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or visit O'Reilly.com. The Chevy EVs are here, and the future is electric. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hey, man. It's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You put up with a lot, but you always hold it down for your people. You are strong, you are fearless, you are the baddest on the block. You are an elbow grease factory, a force of nature. You are not to be reckoned with. You are a ride or die, a powerhouse of productivity. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. DK on the Sports Tip. Flying the plane solo today. J-Dub's got the day off. Dragon Ball in on traffic. We've got Arizona women's basketball coming up tonight. This is a busy night here. We're going to talk about everything happening. A lot happening in Southern Arizona on this Thursday. Arizona women's basketball is one of the things that is happening. Looking forward to seeing this young lady again tonight.
Trammell now kind of hesitates. She's going to go one-on-one against Hagan. Held up in the painted area. She's able to put that in with a left hand to get the lead down to 7. Sugapong goes to Trammell. Fake the handoff. She's on the attack. Pull-up jumper from 15 out is up and good. Denia Trammell has been playing inspired basketball here in the second half.
Denia Trammell, she's a freshman, 6'1", out of Cincinnati, Ohio. We talked to all of these young ladies a few weeks ago. Let me tell you, she might have been one of the more enjoyable ones that we chatted with. A ton of personality. She comes from a winning environment down in Cincinnati. She was on a team that was very successful down at Winton Woods High School, and she was initially slated to go to Buffalo and play for Becky Burke there at the University of Buffalo. But when the change was made for Burke to come here to Arizona, Denia Trammell came right along with her. Let's hear from Becky Burke. We had a chance to talk to her a little bit yesterday about this young lady, Denia Trammell, who had a huge fourth quarter to help spark that comeback against West Texas A&M last Thursday night. Unfortunately, the Wildcats came up just a little bit short. Here's Becky on Denia Trammell.
We got Denia to commit really early at Buffalo because I knew she was going to get P4 looks. Like, I knew if she hung around and waited and, like, bet on herself that she was going to get some P4 looks. She's dynamic. She's explosive. She's super, super, like, uber athletic. You know, if you look at her, you don't think that's a true freshman body by any means. So we were lucky to get her to commit to Buffalo early before somebody else could scoop her up at a higher level. So that's why when we got this job, I knew it was a no-brainer to bring her along. She's loyal to me, understands me, wanted to be coached by me. And so this was a really smooth transition for her, just bigger stage, better opportunity. And again, like she's going to be somebody that's like, you talk about MJ, true freshman, Denia, true freshman, Molly coming in and giving us great minutes the other night. Like, these are all true freshmen that we've got on the floor right now. So you can think about, you know, freshmen coming in and they're just a blank canvas. You just have to coach them and they just don't know anything. So you have that challenge as freshmen. But then you also have transfers where it's like they know a lot, but they know like the wrong stuff because it's not what you do now here. So you've got a lot of different challenges that present themselves based on, like, you know, Mickey's got 6 years of basketball experience, but like 6 different ways of doing things than we're doing them now, right? Or you got Molly, who has no knowledge of anything, and I have to teach her everything from the ground up. So a lot of different challenges with what we're dealing with from a standpoint of true freshmen, international players, 5th, 6th year transfers. It's a lot to mold together and to get everybody to understand everything in a similar wavelength at the right time.
When you say Denia wanted to be coached by you, how would you categorize what that means in terms of your style and why a player would say, I want to play for Becky Burke?
Yeah, she wants to be challenged. She wants to be told the truth. She wants to be coached hard. She wants to be the best player that she can possibly be. Like, Denia is not like fake tough. Denia is real tough. Like, the kid has gone through a tremendous amount of adversity in her life. She's not been handed anything. She's worked for every single thing that she's gotten, and she didn't want to just go to college and take the easy way and go play for a coach that's just going to hand her all this playing time and tell her how great she was all the time. And I think that's kind of like the reason that she really gravitated towards me, is because I was going to make her earn everything. I was going to coach her extremely hard. I was going to, get every ounce out of her, that I could. And I'm going to, keep my promise, whether I'm at Buffalo or whether I'm here for her, because she's a workhorse. She's tough. She's physical. She can handle coaching. She's a dream. Like, she really is. You can tell her whatever you want, direct. She just, a lot of, I want direct coaching. Like, no, you really don't. Like, she actually does, So she's, she's as great of a teammate as you'll find. She's as bubbly as it gets off the court. Her personality is phenomenal. But like, when it's time for business, like, coach her hard, tell her the truth, be direct with her, and she responds to that, which is really refreshing.
Going to be exciting to watch. Denia Trammell. She wears number 33. And the ladies are back at McHale Center tonight against Cal State LA. That'll be a 6 o'clock tip-off, and our coverage over on Freedom 1400 with Derek Palmer will begin at 5:45, the final exhibition game for the women. They will begin their regular season next Thursday, so 3 straight Thursday games, 2 on the exhibition side, and then their season opener will be against UC Riverside next Thursday night at 6 o'clock. They'll play Thursday and Sunday next weekend. Both those games will be at home. In fact, again, if you have been missing out, the women are going to be at home the entire part of the non-conference season. They do not go on the road until New Year's Eve, the second game of the Big 12 schedule, when they head to Colorado to take on the Buffaloes. So 2 exhibition games, 13 non-conference games, 15 consecutive games at home for your Arizona women's basketball team, and it continues tonight with the game against the team from Cal State, Los Angeles. 520-848-1290 if you're headed down to the game tonight. Want to hear from you. 520-848-1290 if you've got a ticket to women's basketball. That's not the only event that's happening tonight. I mentioned there is a ton of stuff going on. We like to say tonight in Tucson, you got a lot of choices, because also happening tonight is Arizona women's soccer playing what is going to be the final game of their season. Unfortunately, the women have hit a losing stretch, which is now 7 matches in a row that they have fallen. They are not going to make the Big 12 tournament. Not everybody gets to go to the Big 12 tournament in soccer. You have to finish in the top 12, and the Wildcats are not going to do that currently, sitting at 2-8 in conference play. So it's all tonight. The Territorial Cup match between Arizona and Arizona State. It is a red out at Mulcahy Stadium tonight with kickoff at 7 o'clock. So last chance for this team. Last chance for you to see them, and hopefully they can go out with a winner. Hey, if it's not going to be a postseason for this team, then there will be nothing better for them than going out with a victory over the rivals. So you have that game tonight as well here on campus at 7 o'clock, Arizona women's soccer. Now, there is also, because, again, this is a busy time in terms of high school football, you've got essentially all the teams playing, because you've got the playoffs starting for the smaller schools this weekend, and you've still got the big divisions that are finishing up their regular seasons. So there's a ton of games over the course of the next 2 days. So we've got a number of teams that are playing football tonight in terms of high school football around Southern Arizona. The kids from my neighborhood are at home tonight for their final game of the season. Catalina Foothills, unfortunately, first season back under Daniel Sines, will not be going to the postseason at 3-6. But they will host Douglas tonight at 7 o'clock. The big matchup we were anticipating a few weeks ago, still going to be a good ball game over at Desert View and Flowing Wells tonight. The Jaguars looking to finish out a 10-0 season tonight as they welcome the Cavs to town. So if you're headed over to the Desert View game, want to hear from you if you've seen Desert View. I've not had a chance to see Desert View. I may see if I can get over there for the second half of that game tonight after women's basketball. So that should be an interesting one that kicks off at 7 o'clock. Desert View at 9-0, Flowing Wells at 7-2. Desert View trying to finish the season unbeaten. Sunnyside will welcome in Mountain View. Mountain View hoping to finish their season at 6-4, still with some playoff possibilities. Tucson High also looking to finish their season at 6-4. They're on the road at Cactus Shadow tonight. CDO will look to get a win, and they're not headed to the playoffs either. The Dorados are just 3-6, so they'll welcome in Casa Grande tonight for an opportunity to finish the year at 4-6. All right, let's give you your let's give you your BetMGM Network top play for today.
Brad Evans here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Let's make some dollars with the Domantas Sabonis of the Kings stat sheet stuffer should wax that glass Tuesday night in OKC. So far this season, the Thunder have allowed the second most opponent rebounds per game at over 50 per contest. No matter what the number is, I'm investing in the alt market and maybe 15 or more boards. That's significant. Plus some money. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
So this is what happens sometimes when DK runs the ship. Things get a little bit off. That was not the one I had scheduled to give you there. But what I am going to tell you is that we're going to do we have 3 plays tonight on Thursday Night Football, which you're going to hear right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. So we're going to combine these 3 plays, these 3 individual plays, into a parlay. So here's what we've got for tonight. Thursday Night Football, Dolphins and the Ravens. We've got Lamar Jackson under 6.5 rushing attempts. Lamar Jackson under 6.5 rushing attempts, so he needs to have 6 or lower times carrying the ball. We've got Derrick Henry over 100 yards rushing. Derrick Henry over 100 yards rushing, or 100 plus, so he can hit 100. It doesn't have to be over. It can be 100 plus yards rushing for Derrick Henry. And we're also going to take the Ravens on the line at -7.5 over the Dolphins. So Ravens -7.5 is currently -110 at BetMGM. Derrick Henry over 100 yards or more is +130. Lamar Jackson under 6.5 rushing attempts is -120. So if you combine those into a parlay, a three-leg parlay at +600. So we're going to take that tonight. Our $12.90 bet could get us back $77.40 if we can get a win on this 3-team parlay. Lamar Jackson under 6.5 rushing attempts. Derrick Henry 100 plus yards or more. Ravens -7.5 over the Dolphins. +600 on that. We lost last night with the Dodgers because we had the Dodgers on the run line at -1.5, and they lost that game by 5. DK on the sports tip, 520-848-1290. We're going to talk some volleyball with Charita Stubbs, the head volleyball coach at the University of Arizona, next. Stay with us on that. Dragon Ball getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. We have an incident with unknown injuries at East Ajo Way and South Dodge Boulevard. Ajo showing most of the slowdown here. And on State Route 86 eastbound, we have reports of a wrong-way driver here near South Camino Verde at milepost 164. Be on alert for that. For your weather, still at about that 88 degrees. We'll be dropping all the way down, though, to 80 once we get to 6 o'clock. I'm Dragon Ball, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find the latest fall looks, all for under $30. With new arrivals every day, you never know what amazing deals you'll find. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010.
Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. and the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Question: why would you shop anywhere else for your favorite tobacco products if you can save up to 40% at Tobacco Barn?
I don't know.
Why? If you can save by paying no state sales tax and no city sales tax because Tobacco Barn is on the reservation.
I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to say.
Plus, save an additional $3 off with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
I don't know how I missed that before.
What is happening? When you shop at Tobacco Barn, save up to 40%. That's 40% off your favorite tobacco products. You won't pay any state sales tax or pay any city sales tax because they're on the reservation. And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com. Just our way of saying thank you for your business. Shopping anywhere else is kind of crazy.
I love it! I love it! I love it! Come on, Jerry. It's time to go back to your cell now.
Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Tune into Wildcats Radio 1290 weekly for Brett Brennan's Football Press Conference, where you can catch up on all things Arizona football this season. The Football Press Conference, sponsored by Coors Light.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You put up with a lot, but you always hold it down for your people. You are strong, you are fearless, you are the baddest on the block. You are an elbow grease factory, a force of nature. You are not to be reckoned with. You are a ride or die, a powerhouse of productivity. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. I mentioned earlier, pretty big volleyball match coming up for Arizona Friday night at McHale Center against TCU. And we are pleased to be joined right now by the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats women's volleyball team. Sharita Stubbs joins us. And Sharita, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Last time we talked, things were obviously going extremely well. You guys were off to a 5-2 start in conference play. You've hit a little bit of a roadblock with some pretty good teams the last 3 times out with 3 consecutive losses, and last night swept down in Texas Tech. Let's start there. What was kind of the story down at in Lubbock last night?
You know, they came out and they played well. Well, one, thanks for having me on. But Texas Tech had a game plan, and they executed it well. You know, no excuses on our end. We just didn't show up to play.
When you look at these last 3, has there been consistencies and maybe some of the things that you're not getting that you were when you obviously guys got out to winning 5 of the first 7 in the Big 12?
Well, the travel has been a lot and, just going and coming, but no excuses because the reality is everyone has to go through it at some point or another. But it's just getting our legs underneath us when we're going through different scenarios, if you will. So, coming off going to Iowa State, we came back from Orlando and then had to go to Houston and then came back and had one day downtime and then had to get back on the plane to go to Iowa State, So it's just dealing with things like that to come home, land, and be ready to play the number one team in your conference on Friday, But the crowd showed up and did a great job, and so appreciative of that.
I know one of the things that you talked about after the game on Saturday, the loss to ASU, was getting kind of Renee Jones back into that rotation as a big opposite. How is she kind of come? She has dealt with some injuries this early season. Is she still kind of, I guess, in kind of maybe an early season mode, in a training camp mode because of those injuries, still trying to maybe find her way, obviously, which is not ideal because you're having to play matches?
Absolutely. Just getting that on-court experience. She had, I think, played in 2 sets earlier before she went out with her injury, but she's seen a lot and she understands what is necessary. Sometimes you just need a little bit to get it going. And, she came in and I thought she did a great job in the ASU match.
What does she bring as a freshman? One of the young ladies that's in this current freshman class. What did you like about her when you were recruiting her to come play here?
I like her size. I like the fact that, she comes from an athletic family, and so she understands the meaning of just grinding the entire time. She's always said the story that she's had to fight for everything with her siblings. All of them are top D1 athletes.
We're chatting with Rita Stubbs. She's the head volleyball coach here at the University of Arizona. I want to go back a little bit to that game Saturday because you debuted your new TerraFlex floor. If folks didn't get a chance to see that, you had said that obviously that's something that had been in the works for a while, that Dave had kind of started to get going. When did you realize that was going to finally become a reality for your program?
It probably was late spring. Is when, we were like, okay, we can make this happen. We have the facility. We had the wonderful donation by Jeannie and Cole Davis, and we had storage, So for each year, there was always something a little bit different in terms of why we didn't have it, because it takes a lot of manpower to put it down and get it up. And it's one of the best things ever, though, for your body and recovery. And so, with the travel and, just the pounding on your body, it's good for that. And it looks good, let's be honest.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Explain to folks, though, the dynamics of that in terms of the recovery. Like, it's obviously a softer surface, but what is it more than just the fact that it's a softer surface than obviously playing on a hard court?
Well, yeah, most of these kids that play club volleyball, they play in convention centers, which everyone knows is cement. And then on top of the cement is a thin piece of carpet, if you will, and then they play on what's called sport court. And so, it hurts me to stand there, let alone, play on it all the time. As a coach, you'll always see coaches sitting down, rubbing their knees and stretching out just because it takes a toll on your body. And so these athletes have been playing on it since they were, 12 in some cases. And so their bodies just take a beating in terms of the constant pounding and falling and pushing. And, there is no quick solution to that. There are some tournaments that will have the TerraFlex flooring, but I went on a trip to France a few years ago. They paid for some coaches to go out, and I got to see how it was manufactured and the time and energy that's put into it, and that was in France, and it was absolutely amazing to watch that whole process takes place. And so the athletes completely know that jumping, not the difference. When you land is when you know that you're on TerraFlex versus wood.
Now, and obviously, though, but you'll only have that in McHale. That's not going to be something that the girls can practice on, correct? You're not going to be putting that down over at RJG.
No, it won't be over in RJG, but it will be down like next week. We'll have it for practice in the beginning of the week. And so you kind of get to go through what that is from a recovery standpoint. In the ideal world, it's down all the time, but it doesn't work when you have one main playing facility.
So they'll put it down in McHale earlier in the week so you can get some practice in on it. That's how that'll work?
Yes, and we will have it tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're chatting with Tarita Stubbs, Arizona volleyball head coach. So, Coach, obviously we're in the second half of the season now with the game starting Friday night, TCU, and then you'll welcome in BYU Wednesday. So you got 3 straight here at McHale Center, Friday, Wednesday, and then next Friday before you head back up for the rematch against Arizona State the following week. How critical are these next 3 games here at home?
Well, we divide our season up into sets. Preseason is set 1. Preseason competition is set 2. The first half of Big 12 play is set 3, and we're in set 4 now. And the goal is to be invited to set 5, which is the NCAA tournament. And so there's no guarantees that you'll get invited. All we can do is go out and fight and compete and grind. The nice thing about our conference, I was just looking that, as a conference, we're number 1 in RPI ranking, so that gives us ample opportunity to still go out and, make a name for ourselves and put ourselves in a position to be selected to that show on that Sunday. So, it's very important, every match, but we work hard never to put more value on one match versus another. It's just a matter of you paving the way. You lose some, you have more work cut out for you at the end of the day is what it means.
We talked a little bit, obviously, about Renee Jones, who is one of your freshmen on this particular roster. Did you think you would get more out of the rest of your freshman class this year? Or was it kind of a look at that probably the majority of them were going to be more developmental and might not see full rotational action till down the line?
Well, it was a mindset that we knew that the right side was the spot that was wide open after Jalen Hodge graduated. So we knew that whatever person was in that spot would have an opportunity to come in and do some things. But from a training aspect, all of them have a major role. But, Avery is a sophomore, and then, Paige is fighting to be on the outside, but she's behind Jordan and Carly. And that's something that they understand. But ready to compete at any given time. And, one of the things is we're able to compete at a high level in practice because of what they bring to the table.
When you look at, obviously, the defensive side of it, and we've talked about that a lot, and Avery is a tremendous defender for a setter. What does that do for a club when you have a setter who can defend at the level that she does?
There's one of 2 things a setter has to bring to the table outside of setting. That's just what their job is. Either they need to be a threat at the net, having some size, or they have to be able to play some defense and get balls up. So the fact that she has a feel for the game and she has a good platform and able to push and get some digs up, that only helps us because it allows the game to be extended versus having, a smaller block if it were Anna over there with someone back there trying to play defense, and we will be in trouble.
And in terms of Avery's setting, like where is she in year 2? Are you happy with where she is in that respect?
I am happy at her progress and how she's developing. She's continuing to learn set choices, which I think is an ongoing process for every setter out there. Typically in club and high school, you have that one key marquee player that receives every ball, so it doesn't necessarily lend itself to a setter having to make set choices. They just know to get the ball to whomever that person is. But when you get to this level, you have to be able to read the block on the other side and then still put the ball in an attackable window, which is more important than anything.
We're chatting with the head volleyball coach at the University of Arizona, Tarita Stubbs. The ladies have a match coming up. In fact, they'll be home the next 3 matches at McHale Center starting Friday night against TCU. It is being dubbed as Halloween. So are you guys having any type of Halloween party? Are the girls having a Halloween dress up? Or are they going to come into, I know the guys have the hallway where they take the pictures. Is everybody going to be dressed up coming through the hallway on Friday?
They will be dressed up for the beginning of practice, but they know to wear something that will be still allow them to practice freely without, extra things on.
There you go. What was your growing up, Rita? And we share the same hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. What was your favorite Halloween costume growing up?
It's funny enough, it was what I wore a couple years ago, but my son had a prisoner jumpsuit.
Oh, okay.
So I wore that to practice with my slides, and I had a do-rag on, and I wore my gold tooth. Yes, I still have a gold tooth.
Oh.
I don't know why. It has a Gucci symbol on it, but I wore that. So it's by far been my favorite. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow yet. I still got to think.
You mentioned your son. Obviously, he's a big-time high school basketball player here in the state of Arizona. He's moved up to the Valley to get some better competition. How's the early part of that as they kind of get ready to start their season going up there, that transition for him?
It's been very good. You know, he shared with me it was really nice making the move because he had more college coaches in his practice in the first week of being up there than he unfortunately had down here. And that's not a knock on the school system down here, but up there is just a larger number of players that are being looked at. And, you know, he's received a couple offers, and so he's pretty excited.
Melvin Stubbs Jr., he's a 6'4" small forward. He'll be a senior this year. So how did you guys, he's at Sandra Day O'Connor. How did you, as a family, how did you decide where you wanted him to go up there?
You know, we sat back and because it was a transition, because my husband was going up there to look for some work, and, you know, he's a caterer, so get stuff grilled catering. I'll throw that shout out for him. But we wanted to make the transition as seamless as possible for him, and so we just looked for the school that was most comparable to what he was used to in Tucson.
Okay,
and
so
they're very similar.
What's Pop Stubbs? What's he cooked best?
You know, everyone, especially the team, loves his pulled pork. His barbecue pulled pork is really good.
Okay.
So you'll understand this. He puts the Cleveland spin on it. So I have to get you some.
Please do. I would welcome that for sure. Rita, hey, best of luck this weekend on this homestand. Get back on track with this team because, like you said, the end goal is to get to Set 5, and that's the NCAA tournament.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Rita Stubbs, the head volleyball coach at the University of Arizona. Again, the ladies are on the floor coming up Friday night at McHale Center. It'll be against TCU Halloween. They'll have trick-or-treating. There'll be a costume contest. All of that for a match that begins at 6 o'clock against TCU. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Again, a short show today. We've got you only until 4:30 because, again, we have NFL Thursday night football here tonight. It is the Miami Dolphins hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Coverage began with Westwood One of that contest coming up at 4:30 and kickoff scheduled for 5:15. My name is David Kelly. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. A couple accidents around town. One over at West Prince Road and North Oracle Road with most of the slowing there on Prince. Another one over at West Irvington Road and South Landing Center Drive. This is right by the I-19, so if you're on Irvington going to the I-19, you're going to see a lot of backup there. For your weather, we're currently getting ready to drop down to about 87 degrees, eventually dropping all the way down to 80 here by 6. I'm Dragon Ball with you, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by eBay.
So I was on eBay because I'm absolutely obsessed
with this rare hologram trading card. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. eBay had it. They even had
the perfect parts that fit my car.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You put up with a lot, but you always hold it down for your people. You are strong, you are fearless, you are the baddest on the block. You are an elbow grease factory, a force of nature. You are not to be reckoned with. You are a ride or die, a powerhouse of productivity. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Wildcat fans, Arizona football tickets are on sale now. Join the party at Arizona Stadium all season long as your Arizona Wildcats take on year 2 in the Big 12. There's nothing better than an Arizona football game day, from the tailgating scene to the action on the field. So bring a friend and get your tickets now by calling 520-621-2287. That's 621-CATS, or by visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. And as always, bear down.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/play.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 25 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shields Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 or in Mississippi.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media Station. The Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com. We are your home for Arizona athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. The college basketball season is about to tip off, and there's 5 teams from the SEC in the AP Top 10. One of those squads is Tennessee, who's ranked 8th to start the new campaign. The Lady Vols are led by second-year head coach Kim Caldwell, who is revitalizing the decorated program. Tennessee has 8 national championships, but they haven't won it all since Candace Parker led them to glory over 17 years ago. At the start of last season, the Volunteers were unranked. But after a run to the Sweet 16, Caldwell has one of the nation's top recruiting classes. And those freshmen are part of an exciting future in Knoxville.
Our upperclassmen are playing in fear that a freshman is going to take their spot, and our freshmen are going to play. They're helping us right away. They're changing our culture right away, and we're building around them.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Maggie Gray on Westwood One.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there, providing hot meals, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
On the
Sports Day. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Final part of our show here today. We've got a couple segments coming up still for you. We're going to talk to Kelvin Ifan, as we do every game week Thursday coming up. Arizona, Colorado. That'll be the game on Saturday, 4 o'clock kickoff. Our coverage will begin at 11:30. Again, we're going to be out at Fred Harvey's estate on Saturday for the pregame show. Looking forward to that. 11:30 to 2:30, Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. And then I'll have an announcement for, we're going to be in a different location for homecoming next Saturday as well. So we'll tell you a little bit about that coming up. Potentially maybe on Saturday we'll do that and let you know what's happening for homecoming. It was not a good ending for your Phoenix Suns last night in their game against the Memphis Grizzlies.
No timeout by the Grizzlies at this point. 12 seconds remain. 1-point game. Morant in the lane. Floater. Yes, with 7.3. And the Grizzlies lead it by 1. Phoenix does not have a timeout.
Just want to force him to catch the ball, at least going towards the baseline.
Booker, 5 seconds. 4 seconds. Booker for the win. No! Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over, and the Grizzlies win it 114 to 113 on a Morant game winner.
Ja Morant, 28 points last night in 32 minutes. Hit that game-winning shot, 114 to 113, the final for the Grizzlies over the Suns. Devin Booker had a shot at the end, but could not get it to fall down. He would finish with 32 points on the night, 10 of 26 shots to get 32 points for Devin Booker. That's not ideal, but he's the offense right now for this Phoenix team. And they fall for a 4th consecutive game after opening up the season with the win over the Sacramento Kings. The Suns have now fallen in 4 consecutive contests. 20 points for Mark Williams. Royce O'Neal had 18. Grayson Allen had 14, as did Colin Gillespie off the bench. But the Suns, again, it's going to be a year of struggles for this team. Nobody really was picking them to be a whole lot of anything, and so far that's kind of what this has been. They were a little bit better defensively last night than they have been. I mean, the prior 3 games, they'd given up 129 or more points in the previous 3 losses in this stretch of now 4 consecutive defeats. Last night, they only gave up 114. So, hey, you got to take the improvements where you can get them. Suns, though, right now tied for 4th in the Pacific Division with Sacramento, the team they beat. Both those teams 1-4. Golden State at the top of the division right now at 4-1, followed by the Lakers at 3-2, and the Clippers at 2-2. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. Again, I told you it's a busy night here in Southern Arizona. A lot is happening. We've got Arizona volleyball. Arizona women's basketball tonight. You'll hear that game over on Freedom 1400 coming up at 5:45 broadcast start time with Derek Palmer. Arizona soccer at home against Arizona State in the Territorial Cup game. So far in Territorial Cup action, the Wildcats lost in volleyball. So, of course, there's 5 sports in the fall. The volleyball teams play twice, so there's another opportunity to split that point on the volleyball side. Football, obviously, will not be until later this month. Soccer is tonight, so that'll be a point awarded this evening. And then the Big 12 cross-country championships are tomorrow, and we'll see. We'll see if the cross-country teams, if you're not going to make the postseason, like I said earlier, and as it relates to soccer, at least beat ASU. Beat ASU. That's what we want to see. So if the cross-country teams can do better in Lawrence, Kansas, then the Sun Devils will take that. We will take that. Triathlon's got their nationals coming up. That'll be up in Tempe, not this weekend, but the following weekend. Of course, that does not count as a Directors' Cup sport. But we still want to beat the Sun Devils on their home turf and win a second national championship, even though, again, that's not going to help you any in terms of the overall ranking of the athletics program across the nation, because that is not an official NCAA sport as of yet. All right, we've got also NFL football coming up for you this Sunday right here. You've got the Carolina Panthers on the road against the Green Bay Packers. Let's get your Panthers report for today.
This Panther Update is brought to you by UNC Charlotte.
The Panthers face one of the best defenses in the league this week when they take on the Packers in Green Bay. And slowing down star defensive end Micah Parsons will be job number one. I'm Sharon Thorson with the Panthers Update after this.
Charlotte's momentum has a name. UNC Charlotte, 32,000 students strong, ranked among the nation's top 75 public universities, recognized at the highest level for research, unmatched access to Fortune 500 companies, built for a top-tier city. This isn't typical higher ed. The difference is scale. The difference is momentum. The difference is Charlotte, UNC Charlotte.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One. Don't miss any of our exclusive NFL action all season long until a new champion is crowned at Super Bowl 60. Of course, each week begins with Thursday Night Football. I'll get it started with a preview and a look ahead at the big weekend games. Then it's to the stadium for the play-by-play of all the action. Join us all season long on Thursday Night Football.
Your home for the National Football League in Southern Arizona is Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Panthers travel to Green Bay this week to take on the Packers and their 6th-ranked defense. The star of the group is All-Pro defensive end Micah Parsons, who has 6.5 sacks and causes havoc for opposing offenses. Panthers coach Dave Canales on how to try to slow him down.
Got to be aware of where he's at. They do a great job moving him around in different spots. He'll play on either edge. He'll play inside in different ways, either as a 3 technique, and he'll stand up as a spinner at times too. So you just got to be aware of where he's at. You have to have things to consider with your protection and, helping on the edges. He's a fantastic player.
The Panthers' offensive line certainly knows what kind of a challenge Parsons presents, especially to a group that is already down several key players and could be without Taylor Moton and Cade Mays on Sunday. Center Austin Corbett says Parsons is a game wrecker, but they're ready.
He's got all the tools when it comes to an edge rusher. He's out on the edge. He'll come inside, over the center. He'll do it all from depth of linebacker level. Just a phenomenal athlete, and really it's the great effort, him chasing things down. He's always around the pile, and so it's just you got to match effort with effort and just take it one play at a time.
I'm Sharon Thorson on the Panthers Radio Network.
This Panther Update has been brought to you by UNC Charlotte, built for a top-tier city. The difference is Charlotte, UNC Charlotte.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. NFL Thursday Night Football coming up at the bottom of the hour. We've got the Dolphins and the Ravens. Again, we're running a 3-leg parlay on that tonight. Lamar Jackson under 6.5 yards, 6.5 rushing attempts. Derrick Henry 100+ yards rushing. And the Ravens minus 7.5. A 3-team parlay at plus 600. Looking forward to that. We've got Arizona basketball coming up against Florida. You know who's happy about that? Our guy Fred Scheib. He checks in on the text line from New Jersey saying that he will be watching. He's going to turn down the sound on his TV and listen to all 8 hours of the coverage, beginning with the pregame show, which will start at 1:30. Welcome back, Fred. We'll be glad to have you for Arizona basketball coming up on Monday. Again, coverage at 1:30, tip-off at 5, Florida and Arizona, the reigning national champions. All right, earlier this week, I was talking about the Arizona State Sun Devils. And the fact that, there's no reason in today's college football that you should allow a guy like Kenny Dillingham to walk out the door because the games have changed. You can pay players now. So it's almost like an NFL concept. And if you've got a good coach, you hold on to that good coach. You invest in that program, you invest in that coach, and you keep him around. And frankly, convince me that any of those places that have jobs open right now, State College, Pennsylvania, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Gainesville, Florida, Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, wherever, Los Angeles, California, now maybe LA, but I don't know if you want to go to that program because they're trying to, and if you miss that, the city of Pasadena is suing UCLA because apparently UCLA has been talking to the folks over at SoFi Stadium about potentially moving Bruins home games back into the city. So now that's a huge mess for the UCLA Bruins. But yeah, I don't know if that's a program that I would even think about leaving Phoenix for. Phoenix is a great place to live. Arizona is a great place to live. And you got a guy in Kenny Dillingham that wants to be there. So there's no reason that he should walk out that door. Rob checks in on the Twitter text groove actually. Rob says, tell me again, how long has ASU been called a sleeping giant? I said that earlier this week. I said they are a sleeping giant. I've always thought they're a sleeping giant. I always thought that program should be better than they are. Rob says, since the 70s, aren't they one of the top schools in the country for being put on probation? Now, I don't know how many times off the top of my head that Arizona State has been put on probation. I know they were on probation in the 70s, just like the Wildcats, I think, were on probation in the 70s. There may have been, obviously, they got in trouble recently during the Antonio Pierce years and the Herm Edwards years. So, yeah, they've had some issues there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a sleeping giant. Dragon Ball, do you know how many times ASU football has been on probation?
I'm going to go with an estimated guess of about 7 times. 7 times? I'm going to guess 7 times.
Holy mackerel. I'm gonna see if, what's it called? Google AI or Google whatever.
Google, yeah.
Let's see. How many times has Arizona State football been on probation? Let's just go ahead and look this up now, since Rob has us talking about it.
I'm basing this off of academic probations as well.
Arizona State football has been on probation once in the recent case. It says once, but there's been more than that. There's been more, unless they weren't put on probation in the 70s. I thought that they were, but according to Google AI Overview, it says only the one time, and they are currently on probation until 2028. So we'll see. We'll have to go back and look into the further of the history. I was pretty sure there was a probation at some point in the 1970s, but we can always go back and look at that later. All right, Dragon Ball is back with us now. Dragon Ball, we have a guy. I don't know if you're not around a lot on. Well, you are. You're here on Basketball Game Days, but not necessarily for the pregame show. But we got a guy named Fred Scheib who listens to the show,
right?
And his mom, Jean. Or was it Jean? Let me check here. I got to make sure I got her name right here. I think it was Jean, but it might have been Joanne because I'm thinking of Sister Jean. Yeah, it was Jean. His mom, Jean, was a huge Wildcats fan, and she was ailing a couple of years ago. She ended up passing away, but she was ailing a few years ago, and literally, I think it was 2 years ago, the first year I was here. And the Wildcats went on a run, and they were just winning. And he was texting in after every show saying, Jean's hanging in. She's listening to these games, or she loves her Wildcats, and they're keeping her going and all of this. And so he always checks in and says, I'll be listening, and so will Jean. Jean will be listening up in heaven. So it's always great to have. Are you excited about Arizona basketball as Fred and Jean are?
Well, I mean, I'm excited for it just because it's another thing for us to go ahead and, add to the schedule and doing all the fun stuff with listening to Tommy and everything like that. I mean, it's always fun getting into the next season, especially with this preseason. Well, I can't say preseason. It's really the non-conference schedule is probably going to be one of the most exciting ones that we've seen for the University of Arizona in a very, very long time. Just for the sheer fact of there's about 3 former national championship teams in this run before we finally get to Big 12 play. It's going to be a fun one, to say the least.
All right, we'll have that for you on Monday. Right now, we've got Dragon Ball, and he is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. We have an accident over at West Prince Road and North Flowing Wells. Once again, this is having a lot of backup on Prince as you approach the intersection there, so be aware of that. Also, we have an incident with unknown injuries over at the Tanque Verde Wash on Houghton. This is just north of Speedway, so be prepared. If you're traveling down Houghton, you may see some backup there as you approach the Tanque Verde Wash. For your weather, currently sitting at about 87 degrees, but we'll be cooling down pretty quickly here, down to 85 at 5 o'clock before finally all the way down to 80 at 6 o'clock. I'm Dragon Ball with you, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Rooter Ranger 24/7 Plumbing, Sewer, and Drains. For fast, affordable plumbing and emergency drain services, call Rooter Ranger and get out of plumbing danger. RooterRanger.com.
888-7-RANGER. Get you out of plumbing danger.
Tune into Wildcats Radio 1290 weekly for Brett Brennan's Football Press Conference, where you can catch up on all things Arizona football this season. The Football Press Conference, sponsored by Coors Light.
Hello, everybody. Gary, why are you wearing a... Hold on, Ron. Every time Gary walks in here wearing some goofy costume, you always say, Gary, why are you wearing that? Yeah, but... And then it turns into some long-winded story about Alaskifications. Yeah, but... Then Gary says something ridiculous. Yeah, but... And you agree that an Alaskification before winter is the best way to prepare for cold weather. Yeah, but... And how Alaskan AC guarantees no breakdowns. Yeah, but... And all it does is encourage Gary to walk around wearing a stupid-looking ski mask that no person in his right mind would get caught dead wearing. Yeah, but he's wearing my ski mask. Keeping my head protected, just like the Alaskification protects your heater. My ski mask isn't stupid looking. Look who's wearing it. I choose to ignore that remark. Because you know another one is coming. Take off that stupid ski mask. See?
And that's why you should schedule your Alaskification today.
What did we accomplish here?
I'm not sure, but today is a good day to Alaskify. Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Question: why would you shop anywhere else for your favorite tobacco products if you can save up to 40% at Tobacco Barn?
I don't know.
Why? If you can save by paying no state sales tax and no city sales tax because Tobacco Barn is on the reservation.
I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to say.
Plus, save an additional $3 off with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
I don't know how I missed that before.
What is happening? When you shop at Tobacco Barn, save up to 40%. That's 40% off your favorite tobacco products. You won't pay any state sales tax or pay any city sales tax because they're on the reservation. And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com. Just our way of saying thank you for your business. Shopping anywhere else is kind of crazy.
I love it! I love it! I love it!
Come on, Jerry. It's time to go back to your cell now.
Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Commanders will once again be without star receiver Terry McLaurin this weekend, as McLaurin is out Sunday against the Seahawks after re-injuring his quad. However, head coach Dan Quinn says the injury is not considered long-term. There is some good news for Washington, as quarterback Jaden Daniels is expected to practice in full all week long. The quarterback missed his third game of the season in Week 8 with a hamstring strain. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell says J.J. McCarthy is healthy and will have a full week of preparation as the #1 quarterback before returning to the starting role on Sunday against the Lions. McCarthy has missed 5 games with an ankle injury. And Lions star edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson signed a contract extension that will keep him in Detroit through the 2030 season. According to NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, it's a 4-year deal worth $180 million with $141 million in total guarantees. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
You're listening to the Jim Rome Show.
Finally a done deal. Rodgers, 41, will play his 21st NFL season in black and gold. I will ask this question. I'm looking for even one Steeler fan to say, I'm hyped. Like, I'm having a hard time finding even one Steeler fan to say, hey, Rome, I'm that voice in the wilderness who thinks that this is awesome. I am a believer. This is a good thing.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. Wildcats Radio 1290 is proud to bring you all of the football insights from our Arizona insiders. Our Arizona insiders are brought to you by Modelo, brewed for full-time Cats fans. Modelo, an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
All right, we've got Arizona Wildcats football coming up for you on Saturday at Colorado. Let's talk about some Wildcat football after the bye week. Pleased to be joined by the captain, Kelvin Efon, class of 1998. And Kelvin, bye week number 2 is in the books. 5 games left to go, 5 important games as you're riding right now, a 2-game losing streak. What do you hope to see? What mentality do you hope to see from this team as they come out of this 2-week stretch of being off?
You know, the good thing about having that week off, you know, you get a chance to regroup and go back and look at the games and realize that, you know, a little play here or play there, you really had an opportunity to win those games. So you have to look at it. Guys have to talk and say, hey, guys, we've been under tough circumstances before where we didn't even have a chance to get to a bowl. We have an opportunity to get to a bowl. All we got to do is win 2 more, and let's start this week with our first home game. So it should be positive around there. It's tough losing games, but when you're an athlete, when you're putting all that time in, you just got to regroup, go look at your things you did wrong, and try to figure out what y'all need to do to get the next dub.
And obviously a lot of focus on the quarterback power, as Danny Gonzalez was calling it, the quarterback run game. And you got Caden Salter, a guy down in Colorado who's equally capable of running the football on you. You've coached a lot of football, so and I'm sure you get a lot of situations where quarterbacks run the football on the youth level. How are you stopping that if you're a coach?
Man, you try to get as many guys as you can in the box. I mean, you know, trust me, man. I had to play against the Tucson Thunder team, and they have some running backs and offensive linemen, and you try to get everybody in the box, man, and you still can't stop them. So it's rough when you have a quarterback that can run the ball. The +1 football is what we call it, because when the quarterback runs, there's nobody accounted for him. A lot of times it's the safety, and by the time he's to the safety, a lot of these quarterbacks are basically big running backs that can throw. They can either run over them or make a move, as we saw in these guys that we've seen way back since Vince Young. So I just think that, you know, right now football, you know, having a quarterback that's mobile and that can run the ball really, you know, give you some advantages.
Yeah, let me ask you this question, Kelvin. And I had said after the game that I didn't think that the last game against Houston was a great game for Genesis Smith. Danny came out this week and said that Genesis has to be better. He's got to be more aggressive. He's playing a little tentative right now, which you don't want to see from your safety, especially. But part of me feels like, and I agree, because I didn't think Genesis played well because of what they're asking him to do. And I think that maybe one of the other things, one of the other caveats to this is I never saw Genesis Smith as being a down-in-the-box safety, which is one of the things they're asking him to do. Now, Dalton Johnson, yes, bigger kid. You know, he can come down in the box and be that safety. I never really saw Genesis in that role. They're asking him to do that. Do you see him being that type of safety? I always saw him being as one of the back end of the defense kind of safeties versus a guy that you want making a lot of impact in the box.
Yeah, man, but I think as we just talked about that +1 football, if the safety doesn't get involved, you're going to get beat up. So you have to be a downhill safety. You have to get in there. I mean, if you're playing a pass-happy team and they were throwing the ball all over the place, yes, you can stay deep. But when you're playing a team that has a good run game, especially with a quarterback run game, the safety has to be accountable. There's only so many gaps you can fill as a linebacker or a D lineman. The safeties, the strong safety and the free safety, they have to come down and be the alley defender that's right in between the corner and the linebackers. If he doesn't fit in that hole, if you go watch a lot of football, that's the lane where a lot of running backs try to get to so they can get to the sideline to make big plays. So, no, Genesis has to be better, man. And I saw him early in the year. He was making big hits. He was making big plays. I think he is being a little tentative. I think he just has to let loose, man. You know, it is what it is. Nobody wants to get hurt. Okay, and you are playing better competition every week, so it has something to do with that. Those other kids have some talent, and some of them are making a miss, but he can fundamentally play better for sure because I saw him do it.
Kelvin, we need you to teach those running backs how to dive over the pile. I wouldn't mind seeing some of that on some of these 4th and 1 plays. Give it to Seth Dagan came out this week and said that he felt like Kedrick Reesano was his best short yardage back. Let's get Kedrick in the air, diving over that pile for that 1 yard we need on occasion.
Yeah, man, I definitely think he has the ability. I think I've seen him get up a little bit there, but I got that basketball background. Coach Tommy never really wanted me to do it, but I knew how to do it, so my natural instincts used to take over. I see a pound, and I was like, get over, Marcus Allen. Right. So, yeah, man, you want to figure out a way to get in that end zone. And as a running back, the D linemen usually want to cause a pile. They dive and try to cut underneath your offensive lineman. And I've had a lot of reps around the goal line in high school, and so I understood that already. And so whenever I ran up, I just knew if I got over the offensive lineman who will basically land on top of the D lineman, all I would have to do is make a little adjustment on the linebacker when he tries to torpedo me, right? Because I know he can't grab me in the air and take me backwards, right? So it's just a little thing you have to understand. Whenever I got contact with the linebacker, I would just do a spin away from him and reach the ball over the goal line. So, yeah, it's a lot of instincts go in that because a lot of time the coaches are not going to teach that.
All right, Kelvin, we'll see you Saturday at Fred Harvey's.
Yes, sir. Bear down, guys.
Bear down indeed. Kelvin Ifan, the captain.
Nobody brings you the inside scoop on your Arizona Wildcats like we do. Today's Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Modelo, brewed for full-time Cats fans. Modelo, an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
All right, thanks to Kelvin Ifan. Thanks as well to Rita Stubbs for joining us. That's going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to Dragon Ball. JW Manning the day off. My name is David Kelly. Coming up next, NFL Thursday Night Football. It's the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 3 o'clock right here. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
The following is a presentation of Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One.
Herbert gets the snap, back to pass, sets his feet, rush coming, lobs it down the middle, wide open, Johnson at the 5, into the end zone, touchdown Chargers, second touchdown catch tonight for Quentin Johnston.
1st and 10, Rodgers from the right hash, firing to DK Metcalf, down the right hash, he's got it at the 40, he's across midfield, to the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, 5, DK Metcalf is in for a Steeler touchdown!
Allen throws to Shakir with the head of steam at the 10. Racing far side 5. Into the end zone. Touchdown Shakir. Oh, the quick pass down the line. The 3rd touchdown of the game for Josh Allen. And the Bills go back in front 27-21.
From the Kansas City 46, Eagles take over 1st and 10. The shotgun snap, the fake handoff. And Hurts drops back 5, winds up, one arching pass, down the middle. It's caught over the shoulder in the end zone. Touchdown Smith. And that may make it insurmountable. 33-0 Eagles. Wow.
every primetime game.
The only thing matters is a win. That's it.
All season long.
However, whatever it takes.
The road to Super Bowl 60 is on Westwood One.
Let's go, man.
Now it's time for Thursday Night Football. Here's your host, Scott Graham.
We welcome you to the start of week number 9 in the National Football League as the Miami Dolphins host the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football. Tonight's broadcast of the National Football League on Westwood One is sponsored by Barbasol Shaving Cream, by Granger, by Indeed, by Progressive Insurance, and by the official NFL app. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Graham, welcoming you to Thursday Night Football here on Westwood One. And an interesting matchup tonight between two teams that a couple of weeks back probably were not looking at a lot of good things surrounding them. However, you had the Miami Dolphins break a losing streak last week with a resounding win against Atlanta. You had the Baltimore Ravens break a losing streak last week with a resounding win against the Chicago Bears. And more personnel back for Baltimore as they now become a team to watch for the rest of the year this year, despite the fact that the record is not where they hoped it would be. How does this one play out tonight? For more, we'll head out to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Welcome to the two guys who are calling tonight's action, Jason Horowitz and Derek Rackley. Guys?
All right, Scott, thank you very much. And if you go by the color in this stadium, other than the aqua seats that are at the moment a little bit empty here as we're about 45 minutes to kickoff, the most prevalent color in this stadium is purple. And maybe that has something to do with the belief and certainly what the Ravens season could be, and also that Lamar Jackson's about an hour away from where he grew up and went to a high school in Boynton Beach. And Scott just mentioned it, Derek, the belief in the Ravens, despite digging themselves a 1-5 hole. They beat the Bears last week without Lamar Jackson. All the controversy about the practice report and all that stuff. But tonight they take on the Dolphins with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no controversy this week as Lamar Jackson is back, as we actually watch him out here warming up, and he's throwing the ball extremely well. Looks his very nonchalant self like he always does, but very confident in his abilities. And you mentioned out here in the stadium purple. Looking out here, we see so many number 8 jerseys, right? Want to get a glimpse of Lamar Jackson back out on the field. And you know, you listen to his press conference this week, and you hear the focus in his voice, right? Talking about things like, we don't want guys distracted. We're going to take some things out of the locker room, and we're not going to be doing the fun stuff. We got to focus back on football. And you listen to John Harbaugh and the belief that he has in his team. And Scott mentioned health getting back on their side, right? That's a huge thing for the Ravens. Is you could sit here and say it's the NFL is all about next man up, Jason, but if you lose the amount of Pro Bowlers and starters in production that the Ravens did, it's going to be hard to win in the National Football League, and they slowly but surely are getting reinforcements back.
And part of the reason the defense played better last week against Chicago, Roquan Smith had missed the last 2 games before they went to the bye. He returned last week, and their defense was a lot better against the Bears. As for Miami, they've had 2 separate 3-game losing streaks this season. The first one to begin the year 0-3. They beat the Jets. Then another 3-game losing streak, including the loss at Cleveland where the offense was atrocious. They had 4 turnovers, calls around this team to fire Tua Tagovailoa, Mike McDaniel, bench Tua Tagovailoa. None of that happened. They go to Atlanta last week. They shut down Bijan Robinson, and they beat the Falcons by 24.
Yeah, you go a week and a half ago, and Mike McDaniel's having to answer questions about Tua Tagovailoa, and he's saying, yeah, my expectation is that he's not going to throw 10 picks. And what does Tua do last week? He comes out, he's extremely efficient with the football, throws 4 touchdown passes. They're kind of more of a dink and dunk type offense, but it's working for them. I think they're trying to take a little bit of that decision making off of the plate for Tua and not necessarily wanting him to stretch the field downfield as much. But give the defense a lot of credit in how they slowed down the Atlanta Falcons and Bijan Robinson and what he'd been doing throughout the course of the season. So a lot of credit both sides of the ball last week. But now the biggest challenge for Miami is, can you back it up? Like, was last week a flash in the pan, or is that what you're going to see the rest of the season?
Well, and the other part to this, too, Dolphins fans can say, hey, look, yes, we're 2-6, and the Colts game and the Browns game got away from them. But they had a 17-0 lead against Carolina. They had a lead against the Chargers here with less than a minute to go. They don't feel that they're far away from being a 500 or better ball club.
Yeah, and there's playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, and they just continue to get the ball in these guys' hands. Waddle, Achane, and Tua not making mistakes, and they're going to have a chance.
Big game tonight for both these teams. One of them is going to have a 2-game winning streak for the first time this year. The other, they have to go back to the drawing board again. For now, we send it back to Scott Graham in our Progressive Insurance Studios. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more at Progressive.com. Scott?
All right, thanks very much, guys. We'll check in with you once again as we get to the top of the hour. We got a lot more to come as we approach kickoff time tonight between the Ravens and the Dolphins, including what this game means to your fantasy weekend and a couple of eyes to put on players for the rest of your fantasy football weekend in Week 9. But when we return, he is a guy who is another who came back off injury, and he is the part that makes this defense go for the Baltimore Ravens. We're talking about safety Kyle Hamilton. This is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The future of fun is here at O'Reilly Chevrolet. We've got EV Blazer, EV Equinox, and EV Silverado in stock now with instant acceleration, zero gas, and lower maintenance costs. Act fast. Federal incentives end September 30th. Visit us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or go to O'Reilly.com. Chevy EVs are here, and the future is electric. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Oh, no, not the sink. Not now.
Plumbing issues can put your life on pause. But with anytime emergency scheduling, the Neighborly Done Right promise, and more, Mr. Rooter Plumbing will have your life flowing again in no time.